Hello, everyone. Happy Friday.
This is going to be a lot of fun, by the way, Julie. I know we moved the time for this week's episode of Learning with StreamYard, but that's because we have a really great guest on. She is located over in Australia, actually. So it's super early for her. We want to thank Annette from Easil for joining us.
Yes. Yeah. So while we're saying good afternoon to our US friends, we're saying good morning to our Aussie friends who are over there because it is bright and early for them. But I'm so excited. Overlays and graphics are something we get asked about a lot. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be a really fun kind of tutorial walkthrough on getting that really branded look to create the look of your show and have it stand out. So it's not just a plain background. And you can start to become you and start to get your design.
Yeah, I love like all of that. I mean, I've worked with Annette myself. I know we've worked with her as well, Julie, on some projects, and she does great work at Easil. And as you can see, Tim's saying, amazing. We had her on their show. Yeah. So let's go ahead and bring Annette on, because what you're going to learn on this show, we'll let Annette tell you that, actually. So Annette, it's fantastic having you join us. Thanks a lot.
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Hey, it's Saturday morning over here. Thanks for having me on, and thank you for that really warm welcome. I'm so happy to be here.
So what are we going to be teaching our viewers today?
Okay, so what I'm going to take you through is an intro, so branded graphics in a beginner way. So showing you how to do your promotional graphics for your live show, how to create your lower thirds, and streamlining all of your promotional graphics. So everything that you need to promote your live show every week or however often you've got that show on efficiently and build your brand and its recognition. So we'll jump into Easil and I'll show you some of the pre-made templates that we've got that are really great for beginners that don't have that design skill set. They're drag and drop. I'll show you how to use them, how to update them, and then run through how to do all of those promotional graphics as well. And as an extra bonus, I'll show you how to make some little GIFs that you can use in StreamYard. I know you can use them in your overlays, but also in your promotional graphics, like your Instagram stories and things like that when you're promoting your show, or just in general, how to create those little animated GIF stickers.
Fantastic. And we've got a lot of great comments, by the way, just coming in. Yes. Jennifer was saying, hey, I've been wanting to learn this for a while. So we're super excited to have you teach us. And I know we've got a different kind of giveaway, right? Like than we normally do, right, Julie?
We do. So we've got a couple things that we're going to give away. We're going to, and Annette can talk about this as we go through, but some promo code that you can use to get Easil. Easil is my preferred easy graphic design tool that I love what you can do with it in there. And then, Annette, do you want to talk about the giveaway and what you're going to be giving away?
Yeah, so we're doing a couple of things. So we've got a discount code for everyone. So that will be, I think you guys will pop that in the screen somewhere. But also we do custom design at Easil. So we have a lot of people that come in and look, they say, I don't even know where to start, or I don't have the time to do it. So we're going to give away a session with our design studio where we work with you to create your whole custom set of overlays and promotional graphics. So some person watching will win that today.
That's awesome. And we'll be doing that towards the end of the show. So you're going to have to watch through, and then we'll give you the right entry point, and we'll use our giveaway tool for that.
Excellent.
So now we're going to turn it over to Annette. We're going to let's just talk about I guess maybe we'll start with graphic design. Why, for example, why should somebody have a set of overlays for their business?
Yeah, well, it's super important. Like your own business, it's really important to have a brand for your show. So whether that reflects your whole business brand, reflects that entirely, or whether you've got a show brand that's named separately, you really want to start building that up and building the same trust like you do with your own company. So building that familiarity, can't say that word at 5 o'clock in the morning, familiarity, and that trust with your viewers, so that they know when they see your graphics that's that same show, that live show's coming up, and they tune in or they book in for that show, and it's just that professional look. you don't want to have a different look every time. So making sure that you have those consistent colors, fonts, and that overall look of your brand is consistent so that people know what they're expecting every single time.
Fantastic. So do you want to just take things over and just kind of show people?
Yeah, well, I can dive right in. So
Perfect.
I will share my screen. Let me know if that is all visible to you guys.
Not
all good?
yet. Nope, we don't have it in the dashboard yet.
Hang on a sec.
And while we're waiting on the screen to come up here, I'm going to just, there we go. Perfect. Here we go. Okay.
So, yeah. All right. So we're in Easil. So it's a DIY drag and drop tool with thousands of pre-designed templates. But in relation to StreamYard, what we've done is we've actually worked with you guys with your cameras and all of the angles and everything that StreamYard uses to create a bunch of different overlay sets. So they're pre-designed sets. So what I'll do is I'll jump in and I'll show you what those actually look like and what that means. So within the different categories in Easil, we've got this landscape TV section. And then when you scroll through here, you'll see all these previews of these graphics that have got multiple pages in them. So once I open them up, you'll see what they are. But as you can see, there's tons and tons of these different layouts for different occasions. And they're just a starting point. So once you go into them, you can customize these as much as you like. So I'll choose one of these, click on it to open it, and I'll just edit that design. And when that opens up, you'll notice that in this set, for example, there are 6 different pages. So you've got your first graphic, which you can double up as your intro graphic and also a promotional graphic. The next one along is a lower third. And while I'm sitting on this screen, I might explain what the checkerboard is. So it's really important that you understand that some of these designs become foreground and some of them are overlays. So on the first graphic, when you've got the promotional graphic, that totally covers the whole foreground of your screen. So nothing is showing through. But when you're using a design like this, that's got the checkerboard on it, you only actually have this lower third showing over your camera. So you've got the different views as you're creating. Hopefully that makes sense. Then on the third page, we've got a section divider. So say if you've got an hour show and you've got a different section or a different guest or someone that you want to transfer over into your show, then you bring up this screen. The opposite side, lower third, a 2-camera view, and the final closing screen that you can put all your social handles and everything onto. So these are really, really easy to update. So what I'm going to do is I'll run through and I'll update this one. And what I did yesterday afternoon is I created a little brand called the Jack Live Marketing Show. So that's a Julie, Annette and Christian show. And I'm going to apply that and show you how quickly you can actually go in and create or take a template set like this and turn it into something totally different. So firstly, coming into Easil, you have to go in and, well, you don't have to, but it's best to go in and add your brand colors. So what I've done is in the brand kit section, excuse me, I just need to have a sip of water here. You can go in and add in all your brand colors. So I've created a color palette for this brand and put that in there so that it's really easy for me to go into any design and just apply my color to them. So on this design, I've got the black and the red going throughout the show, and that's not my colors. So I'll pop into my color palette here and I'm going to choose to apply the blue to my design. And then I'm going to click on this to update all of the black to blue in one go. So what you'll see is throughout the document, that's quickly applied that to every single page in that document. Then going through the red, I'm going to change that to this golden color in my brand. And again, I'm going to create that so that it applies throughout and replaces the red on every single page in there. So already I'm getting to a stage where this is becoming my own look. Now, any text box that is in here, you can apply your own text to it. And obviously you can also go in and customize any of the text. So just going in and double clicking in here, I'm going to say the Jack Live Marketing Show. And you can also go in and you can apply your own brand fonts to that. So I'll pop in and I'll just put that on there, and that's as easy as what it is. And just move that up a bit, and we'll have Julie, Riley, McD, and
I was going to say, you're actually going to spell my last name?
No, don't be crazy. It's just Christian.
I know, right?
Christian K. And also with Smith, make up some name here. So we've got our guest today, and I'll just go through and apply my fonts to that. So I've got my first graphic done, and look, there isn't a placeholder on this one to say what the time is. So let's go and say, we'll put it in my time zone, Saturday, 5 a.m., 8th of May. I'm in the future here, guys. So just go in and I'll apply that font. And essentially now I have got my first page of my design made with the text set. What you can also do is use these image placeholders to replace and add your own images. So I'm going to go to my images, and I've preloaded some images of us. So because this is a regular show that we'll be running every week, guys, we want to have us, the three of us, on our promotional graphics every time, so that becomes our template. And then we'll have this one space that becomes our show guest. So I'll just pop through and we'll put Julie in first. I'll duplicate that and I'll drag and drop and add an image of me and duplicate another one across there and pop Christian in there. So we've got three different graphics, three different circle images there that have our profiles. Hopefully I'm not moving too quickly, but I'm just trying to show the different things that you can do. So we've got our three profile images, and this is pretty much the format that we would be using every week. And we'll just say that that is our guest image. If you had a new image, you can obviously just drag and drop a new image into that placeholder. So you can leave it just as that. But I've actually got also our brand logo. So I will pop in here, and I've uploaded my brand logos for this show in here. So I'm just going to drag and drop that on here and place that on there. So what have we got? It's probably about 5 minutes or so that it's taken me to build out that first graphic on here, and also go through and change all of the details or the colors in this overlay set. So moving forward from there, I'm happy with that first graphic. That will be my intro graphic, and it will also become my promotional graphic. But moving through the set, what I would do then is I'd grab this and copy the show title, and I'll just paste that into each one of these lower thirds. So depending where it's applicable, I just go through, paste that through there, paste that into every single section, and obviously go through and update any of these show sections, these placeholders with any names, and same with these social handles at the end. So that essentially is your live show set done. Now, sometimes you might have more guests. So you might be looking at this and saying, hey, you know, there's a single person layout on the camera and there's a duo, but sometimes I have more than that. So as I mentioned in Easil, we have worked with StreamYard to create some of these different camera angles. So what you can do is you can make a copy of any of these overlay sets, overlay pages, just by duplicating. And if you go into the graphics tab in here and type in overlay, there are a whole bunch of different overlays as well. So if you wanted to have like a circle overlay so that your faces are just showing through like circle windows, you can drag and drop and add those. Or if you've got 3 people, you can do that. Or even if you've got, you know, look, we've got a layout for 5 different people. So you can drag that across there, get the corner of that, and then apply any of your brand colors to that, send it to back, and you've got another layout. So working through this section, there's a whole bunch of these different camera layouts as well that you can just drag and drop and create them. So remembering that any of the transparent sections where your cameras will show through, and any of the graphics sections is what sits on top of that. So really, really simple. And then when you're downloading, it's super important that you download as a PNG file. So whatever graphics application you're using, you need to have that ability to download a PNG, a transparent PNG, so that they work with StreamYard and your live streaming software. Does that make sense, guys?
Oh, definitely. I like this. I like that view you just made there, by the way, with the 5 cameras.
Yeah. Do you want to take a couple questions, Annette?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll start with Albert here. He said, would you consider using this process to spruce up a church's graphics, say for youth program, special program? In my heart, I'm thinking so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know what you're using at the moment, but having those professional overlays definitely, I see it as like I'm a person that likes to have accessories when I'm when I'm getting dressed, and I think for a live show it's the same thing. It's adding an accessory that's adding a bit of flair. You know, it's giving something else visual for your people to look at. But there's no reason why you can't use this for any live show. And if you've got things happening in your service that you might want to bring up in different ways, there's no reason why you can't go into these transparent areas and put in extra text. For example, I'll just quickly pop in and say if you've got a special service and you just want to put some sort of information on there in one overlay, you can create different graphics that block out the screen. Let's move that to the front, move that to the back, I should say. You can go in here and you can go in and type in, you know, different messages for your, whatever you need for that special occasion, and create a different graphic for that service as well. So you don't need to stick to exactly how this is. It's really just learning the fundamentals of the background overlay covering everything. So like this first page where you have zero transparency versus these different sort of overlays, which are super flexible if you're using those transparent areas. So you can bring up screenshots or you can add any photos into these, whatever works for any live show, really.
I love that. I'll just bring this in up real quick. It's not a question, but I'm on the website now. This is what I have been looking for. So perfect.
That's fantastic.
And then we have, are there any overlay templates for Zoom? Example, 2-person frame, 3-person frame. And I know you kind of went through those template frames there.
Yeah, so I can't tell you if they definitely match the camera angles for Zoom, but we do work with our users to make sure that we're covering all of those angles. So definitely if you find that they don't suit Zoom, which I'm not sure, like obviously for the single person, they definitely will. I would say the duos definitely would. I'm not sure about those multiple. I'm not sure about these ones, if they specifically match what the Zoom cameras do. I'm not sure if you guys know that either, but these ones that I'm showing you today are specifically for what works with StreamYard.
Right.
But yeah, if you find that there's anything missing, definitely let us know and we can create these sort of graphics that sit in there as well.
Perfect.
And, I want to add a quick bonus tip actually to that. So if you're trying to match up like the cameras, for example, one thing I like to do is I like to pull up myself and, you know, another person, for example, if I want a 2-person view, and I take a screenshot of that and then I bring it into Easil and then I build around that. So that way I know exactly what I look like on screen versus going through the whole trial and error side of things to get things right.
That's a really, really good tip. Yeah. So you can if you take that screenshot with your computer, you can then go into your images here, upload that image, drag it on, position it full screen as your screen would display behind that overlay. And then you can go through, and if this is a little bit too high, you can grab those elements and reposition them so that they work for you and where you're sitting on your screen.
Perfect. Somebody pointed out and said a kind of online Photoshop, but much easier to use.
Much easier. Yeah. I still use Photoshop only because I have to. It's so complicated.
Right.
And that's the big thing about like design. Most of the time people, you know, I think they've been associated with that stigma for the longest time of, you know, oh, I have to get a degree in graphic design to be able to, you know, learn how to use the software. And that's before they even come up with a design. So that's one thing I really like about, you know, Annette's product, Easil.
Yeah. Somebody asked, so these templates were already existing inside of Easil, correct?
That's exactly right, because the hardest part really is starting with that blank page, not knowing what you have to put on there. You can come in here and change this. Like you saw, this was black and red, and now I've changed the colors to whatever I want. And obviously, if I want to move things around, you can drag and drop any of this stuff, or you can go into the graphics tab and bring in different generic elements from our graphics tab, or you can upload your own graphics and really customize this to be your own thing. I mean, if you wanted to and you had a little bit more of a design eye, you can also go into Easil here on this tab, and you can bring in pages from other layouts and you can mix and match them. But as a beginner, I would suggest opening up one of these sets as they are, going through in the steps that I showed. Apply your brand colors first, then apply your fonts and your text changes, drag and drop your images in, and then have a look at that and see how it looks, and then fine tune from there, rather than jumping in and, trying to mix and match too many different things.
I love that. I love this one. This one, they said, Easil opens up a whole new world.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what people make. And we're always happy to, advise on that type of thing as well. If you're not quite sure if it's working or not, we can definitely help you out with some advice on those.
Yeah. So this goes back to the very beginning. You mentioned kind of keeping your theme. And so she's asking, did you say that each show should be the same?
Yeah, well, I believe that you should have a strong brand that's consistent. So that would mean you would have the base of your template the same every time. And then you would have something like this that is, in my example here, it's a guest image. So once you drag in that guest image, it does change that template a little bit. And obviously when your viewers are scrolling through social media, they will say that it's different, but all of the rest of it is consistent. So if they caught your last show, then they will feel familiar with that, but they'll see what the new guest is, the new time, and all of those details. But having a template, to me, templates are your best friend. Like, there's no reason why you should be starting a new graphic set every single time.
That would be
and there is,
so exhausting. And
nobody's got
time
for that.
Exactly.
That's right. No, you do not want to be doing that. I mean, templates for everything, I say.
Yeah. What should people be prepping ahead of time? Like, their thought process, once they've gotten this kind of creative, once they've started doing this, should they really be coming in to the tool with, ready to start their creation process?
Yeah. So I think once you've got your show outline and you know who's coming on your show, say if you've got that planned for the next month or the next 8 weeks, I think it's great to go in and batch create all of your graphics at one time. So as long as you've got your schedule with your guests, the times, and you have all of their photos together, I would come in and I would create all of these graphics together. So in saying that, I'm going to show you what I mean by those other graphics, because this is all about when your show is live. Apart from the intro graphic, the first page, everything in here is really as you're going live. And that's only, as we all know, part of what live is all about, and we need to promote as well. So I'm going to give you a quick run through of how you can create those graphics for Twitter, for your Instagram stories, and how to create a template set that you can use across the board. So the first step would be coming in and doing all of these graphics for the show. Then going into the side panel here of Easil, we've got a sizes tab. So in here is where you can go in and you can do resizes. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to click on this copy and resize button, jump into social media, and these are all your preset sizes. So from this landscape size, I'm going to create first my Twitter promotional image. So I'll just click on Twitter image. What that's going to do is quickly resize this whole set. So I don't need all of these, obviously, for Twitter. I won't be posting all of my camera overlays, so I'll just quickly go in and delete everything that I don't need. Now, what I would do is I would go in here and quickly make some adjustments to fit that new size. So just selecting, and what you can do in Easil is you can shift and select multiple layers to move them and just tab them across, or you can drag and drop and move them like that as well. So I'll reposition that until I'm happy with it. And obviously, when you're not live like I am, you'd be taking a little bit more time to go through and make sure this is all perfect. But I'm pretty happy with that. So that would become my Twitter promotional graphic that I would be using every week to update From here, let's say I would need an Instagram story or a story graphic that I'm using everywhere, really. So from here, I would jump into that sizes tab again, copy and resize into social media and click on story. So now I'm going into a portrait orientation. So it's a little bit different to the landscape for Twitter. I would go in and resize all of this so that it will work on a portrait orientation. So I can go through and click all of these elements. I'm just working through pretty quickly, but you can multiple select like that, drag and drop, and I might make those pictures and the date a little bit bigger for my social template. And just drag out some of these elements. Make sure my show logo is visible and my guest image is showing as well. So in the sidebar here, what you'll see is that you can toggle between your live show set overlays, your Twitter image, your story image. And look, I mean, we can quickly go in and turn this Twitter image into a Facebook image as well. So we'll go Facebook post. And this is, sorry,
while you're doing that, I love how you're like just making it like really easy for everyone to go about creating their graphics. A lot of people, you know, I feel like they might like not spend enough time on that part, you know, and if like you're not getting viewers on your live streams, like you want to make sure you're promoting it as well, you know, and making sure like you set yourself up for success with every live stream you do. So this is fantastic.
That's exactly right. I mean, and this is all about setting it up once. So that I'm doing all of the hard work, if you can call it that, now in preparation for my show ongoing until you decide to change the look and feel of your show, which wouldn't be very often. All of this work is done once, and then I'll show you the magic that can happen every single time you come into Easil to, you know, update these graphics really quickly. So if you've got this all ready to go, and you might want to pop on, say, Facebook Live graphic on here as well. If you're promoting on Facebook, you can drag and drop a little graphic like on that, and you can add different things to your different sizes. So they don't all need to be the same. You might be saying different messages on different platforms. So now I do have those 4 different sizes, and there's no limit to how many of these you do. If you've got different, you might have a web tile that you want to use, which is a custom size. You can create all of those different sizes. But what you can do from here is, let's say, so this week we had Hannah Smith on, and next week we're planning for a different person. So we'll say Peter Roberts is coming next week. You can go in and you can change your date and any of these details. But what you can do after each change is you can actually click on that box after you've updated it, right click, and this is a beta feature, so fingers crossed to the tech gods that this actually works. You can go through and press update collection down here on the bottom of that right click menu, and when you do that, you'll see this little indicator turn here, and it also quickly flicks through these sizes. So when I've updated that and then I click on these other sizes here, you'll notice that it updates all of these different resizes as well. So you don't need to go through and update the text one by one on all of these templates. So we'll say, look, we'll say we've got a 2 p.m. on the 9th of June for this one. Right, click on that update collection, see that spinning and these updates coming through here. And again, that's updated those. So what you're doing is, once you've built out that collection, you come in each time and you can either duplicate this file so that you've always got an archive of your last show, or you can update the same file. That's really up to how you work. I'm a digital hoarder, so I make copies of everything so that I've got the same. You know, let's say if I had Christian on my show and I think he might be on again in 6 months, I'd rather have, you know, his photo and everything ready to go, and I can jump in and use that same file again. But it's up to you. If you want to use the same files, you can do that too.
Yeah.
So
I love Chuck is saying that auto updater is epic, and I agree.
It is. It's really cool. So it not only applies to text, you can actually go through and add your images as well. So let's just drag and drop. This will be our Peter Roberts guy. You can go through and drop him in there. So just showing you quickly what that is too. So this graphic, if you're wondering how to put an image into a circle, is a different type of graphic that we've got in Easil as well. It's called a shape mask. So if you go into graphics and shape masks, we've got all of these shapes that have got this checkerboard sort of pattern on them. And what that means is if you add them to your design, they become an image mask. So if you, let's put in the love heart for something different, just to quickly show you what that means. We'll go into host images. We'll put you in there, Julie, in the love heart. So what that does is that masks out that image to fit into the shape. Now, that doesn't actually work with my design, so I'll get rid of that one. But with those shapes, you can add those different sort of masks in there so that you're not always using a square or a rectangle or anything like that, and it adds a little bit of that professional sort of style to your design. Yeah. So because I've actually done that and updated that image, it's I need to have that as the last update that I've done whilst this is in beta. So I'll just pop that in as you, Christian. I can update collection on that one, and it's going through and saving that. I'll go back to my sizes and I'll click through to these other ones, and you'll see that that image has repopulated to all of these resizes as well. So you'll see how it's really important to firstly build out the foundations of your live show branding kit. So not just only the overlays, but also all of those promo graphics, and using that copy and resize functionality in here to build out the different sizes means that you'll have all of those sizes ready to go each time you need to promote your show. And like I said, you can do that in batches, or you can come in and do one set at a time, but you're not going into every single graphic and updating that text and those images on every single one. So you'll probably save yourself 15, 20 or 30 minutes every time, rather than going in, resizing, fiddling with them, dragging and dropping your images. It's really quick and easy to build out your whole set and then just download them and start promoting.
Yeah. So we have a question that they've asked, why is the download button in the right corner grayed out for me?
The download button would be grayed out until you select a format. So it's grayed out. So see, when I click the PNG there, the download actually highlights. So you need to have something selected from these file formats.
Okay, perfect.
Hopefully that works.
One other question. Let me find it. Are there more live stream templates, a paid version?
There are. So you can see them all. So if you're on the free trial at the moment, you can see them all. So I think there is close to 40 or 50 different sets at the moment, and we're growing those. So if you are on the trial, you can see them all. But if you're finished on your trial, then some of them will have a little plus tag on that, meaning that they're not available on the basic plan.
And if you want to upgrade, you go use SY30 and you get 30% off of your subscription.
That's right. That's right. And look, our standard price is $7.50 a month anyway. So yeah, getting that 30% off, it's a bargain.
And then, okay, are the templates labeled as live stream templates? So where would somebody go to search for those?
Yeah, I'll show you where to go in. So we'll go back here. So if we go into templates at the start, then go to this drop down, which is your template selector, and go down to digital screens and then landscape TV. And they're all at the start of this category. So you can actually put in overlays in here, but if you go through that step process, they are all grouped together here at the top of this category. So you can find them in there. So there's all these different layouts, all of those. Yeah, I think there's close to 50 of them now. But again, like I said earlier, with the shapes and the overlays and things like that, our graphics team is always looking for input from actual users. So if there's stuff missing, we definitely want to hear that. And you can pop in and you can use the chat to talk to us, just clicking on this, or when you're actually in the actual design, there's another question mark, and you can pop in and just put your comments in there and say, hey, I'm really looking for something like this. Do you have anything? Could you guys create it? And we'll look to add that to the library for you guys.
Michael Daniels is asking, can we drag and drop images and logos? And so that's what you were doing when you dragged the male picture in there and our pictures around, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do that with any of the placeholders that are in here, or you can drag and drop and upload things wherever you want. So if you did have an image uploaded, look, I'll search for something that doesn't match this design at all. Any image that you've got, you can actually drag and drop that on there and place things on wherever you like. You can resize them, you can rotate them, all the standard things. You can do all of that stuff with your design. Nothing is locked into place. This is more of a guide to help the beginners that really don't know where to start with getting started and then building out from there. But you've got all the standard things of adding text, adding images, dragging and dropping onto those designs.
Jennifer is asking, is there a size for LinkedIn?
Yeah, there is a size for LinkedIn. So depending on which, whether you're talking about, header graphics or your post sizes, you can go into your sizes and copy and resize. Everything's in social media here. So you've got LinkedIn cover. You can also go into here. And if anything's missing, you can resize by your custom sizes by adding in those measurements in your pixel sizes. So as we know with social media, sizes change all the time. So we try and be on top of that with having all of the different sizes available that are used most frequently or are unique. Because some of the social networks, you can post an Instagram square to Facebook and other networks and on other platforms, you don't want to put square images. So if there's something totally different, we do try and have those preset sizes in there. So again, if there's something missing or something has changed and we haven't got onto it, then let us know and we will fix that.
Yes. Yeah. And they choose what they want to download it in generally, but when they're using the transparent, they need the PNG, correct?
Correct, absolutely. So when you're downloading these types of files, well, I recommend PNG. Like for simplicity, PNG is a higher quality file format than JPEG anyway. So if you can do that, whether you're using Easil or another application, I would choose PNG any day for any types of graphics, just for the quality. JPEG compresses and gets that pixelation sometimes. And then when you upload to Facebook, they will compress it again. So, start out with the best that you can, because you know that some of those platforms will just, they'll squash it down for you, which is not good. But for simplicity, because on those live show overlays that you've got some areas that are transparent, you do have to use the PNG. So you may as well just keep that in your mind, always to select that PNG download.
Perfect.
So from there, if there's no other questions, what I might do is jump into showing you how to create a little GIF. So I know that in StreamYard you can create little GIFs that go in your logo bug placeholder. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you can also you can do basic GIFs as your overlays as well. So what I might do is actually just show you how to animate your logo, which might be just your show logo, or it could be text. So I'll give you an example with this logo. So I did build this graphic in Easil, and there's a few different tips and tricks that you can use for creating little animations. And what an animated GIF is a series of images that are joined together. So what you're doing is building out separate pages that are then stitched together and repeat on rotation. So they're playing through those different sizes. So you're just creating a little bit of variance from one page to the other so that your eye is actually tricked into seeing that animation and movement. So starting with something like this. So I've got one page in my document at the moment. And again, I've got that transparent background because I want this to sit in the top corner of my live show and, not block out in a square sort of way. So I want this little circle to sit up there. I'm starting with one page and I'm duplicating that. And what I want this particular logo to do is have a little pulse. So I want it to expand smaller and larger. And I'm just thinking here that because I'm actually sharing screen, I'm not sure if there is going to be a way for me to show the final result for this. So guys, I might need to see if you guys can think of any way where I can actually show the file when it's downloaded.
Do you want us to actually
Sorry.
put it in the brand section, maybe, if you message to us after it's finished?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, so we can pop that. So I'll download it and I'll just send it to you, because it's a little bit difficult to show you exactly what that means without seeing it. So I'm starting on that first page with having the full size logo, and on the second page, this is a really simple animation, but by making that smaller, when you actually have that playing through, it just pulses smaller and larger. So it's a really subtle effect that just, you can just add that for a little bit of movement, add it to your show, but also there's a couple of tricks and hacks that you can use to using them on your Instagram stories as well, which I can run through in a minute. So when you've got this done, you can go through to your download, ensure that you've got the GIF selected on this. So GIF is for the movement. And then you've got your settings of slow, medium, and fast. So on this, I would download that and it'll come through as a GIF. So I'll have to send that to you guys off screen in a sec.
Okay.
But there's also different things that you can do. So once that one is generated, let me see, actually, maybe I can share my whole screen. Would that work? Whoa, hang on a sec. Is that back to normal? Let me see if that was going crazy for me. Let me see if I can share my whole screen. That might be easier to show you the finished result of that GIF.
And by the way, while she's doing this, just a quick note. So basically, she's creating an animated GIF, a logo, and then she's going into the brand section in StreamYard, and then you can put this in your logo section. So it doesn't have to be just the static graphic.
That's right. And Christian, what's this about GIF?
I know, right? I know. I was actually thinking,
is it a GIF or a GIF?
I thought we were friends, but now I'm just not sure.
He's got his peanut butter off the camera over there.
Crazy.
And we've had a couple people ask, so I'm going to put up the tool we are talking about is Easil. So you can go to easil.com, and while she is pulling up the graphic, oh, there we go.
Can you see that?
We will pull that back up on
screen.
screen.
So I'll just block the main camera so it's not too crazy there, overlaying. So what that does is it's just created that little bit of movement, so it pulses, and when you would upload that, as Christian said, into your brand section, it'll just give that little bit of movement. So I'll just stop. Okay. It's crazy. Yeah. So that's what I was afraid of. I thought, how can we do this?
I would say it's the Inception window.
Yeah. So you can go into Easil and you can do, just by using those different pages, you can do lots of different things. So you might decide that you want to rotate the text, or you might decide that on every different page you might want to change the color. And so it's just that little bit of movement when you create that little logo or that graphic. It doesn't necessarily have to be your logo. You might say, Live with Julie, a little text graphic. And we've got some blogs that take you through all of that stuff. So I'm not going to tell you too many of them, but essentially it is that type of flip book, playing between pages that join together, and it just keeps on playing in rotation. And it's just a cute little thing to add to your show, or especially your social graphics, to just give it, really brand it quite easily.
I love it. We had somebody, I just have to bring this one up. This one laughed. I say tomato, you say potato. We're not even in the same fruit anymore.
No. So with those GIFs too, a really cool thing you can do, especially if you're on an iPhone, is with the stickers, if you create them and send them to your phone, you can save them on your camera roll. And then when you're doing a video, so when you've got recorded video on your phone, you can actually copy and paste those stickers onto your stories. So you don't need to have a Giphy brand account. You can create those different stickers. You can drag and drop them onto your story or your reels even, and put them into your promo graphics without having to do, the whole thing every time you might be speaking on camera or speaking to a guest. That pre-recorded video can then use those GIFs as well. And that has been really, really popular for us, because not everyone's got a brand Giphy account. That takes time to go through and set up all of that, go through the approval. So in the meantime, you can do that and create your own. It's much easier on iPhone. There is a hack for Android. I don't have those steps off the top of my head, but it's pretty much similar. It's like having an installed keyboard and you copy and paste onto there.
Here's
So,
a good
yeah.
question. David is asking about where that GIF placement is.
So I think so in regards to StreamYard, I think you have a set spot for your logo bug, don't you, in the top right?
Yes,
so
correct.
so that will preload. If you create that logo into that square area, that will fit in the screen as your logo bug in the placeholder in StreamYard. But you can also, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you can create a full screen GIF as well. So if you wanted to place that GIF somewhere else, a hack to do that would be to start with that full screen overlay layout that I had. Make sure that you've got the transparent background and remove everything else, and then create your GIF where you want it to be placed. So if we wanted one to be in the lower right corner, then use that full screen design, but just create your logo and your animation using that bottom corner. And then when you use your overlays in StreamYard, it will position wherever you have placed that in the overlay.
Yep.
And by the way, I want to bring up my screen real quick and just to show people where this would go. So if you were making the image that Annette just talked about, where it's the bug, basically, this is what it's going to look like. So here I am, I'm in my StreamYard dashboard, and I would go to the brands tab here on the right-hand side, and then you're going to have the logo section here. And if you hover over this question mark, by the way, there are some additional tips here, such as the recommended size, recommending, for example, using a GIF with, or GIF, sorry, with a transparent background. And you're simply going to click the plus sign. So once you've downloaded it from Easil, click the plus sign, upload it here, and then you're going to simply just going to be able to just select that during the broadcast. Okay, turn it back over to you.
So that looks really easy. Can you actually change those during the show? Can you just switch between your logos?
You can. So we're right here right now. We've got our Powered by StreamYard. We actually have a countdown timer one in here. So we've got a couple of these that we've got. These are all I have loaded in this brand dashboard right now. But you can
I think
them.
that's really cool. So then if I was doing this and I had guests on my show, I would do little surprise things for the guests, like something that says, it's hovering over Christian and it's like, you're awesome, or you should say GIF, or is it GIF or GIF? Something like, obviously you need to plan ahead and create these graphics for your show. So you need to know that that's going to come up. But something, like let's say if it was their birthday, you could create a little graphic that you pop up for a second and it gives that little bit of life, but it still ties into your show and just shows your brand personality, really.
Definitely, yeah. And you can also, I believe, create the full screen animated GIF as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely create that in Easil. You want to keep it subtle, I think, for if you're going live screen. I think like when we've got the view at the moment, there will be nothing worse than all of that confetti in that back corner at the moment, going crazy and distracting from us. So you do want to keep it quite subtle. And when I went through and I did that 2 pages of the GIF, I would say maybe, use 4 pages as a max. You don't want too much going on, or it's just too distracting.
And people also just need to realize it's basically to create the video, you're taking a still frame, you're making a duplicate, you're moving it just a slight amount, you're making another frame and another, and then that's being saved as essentially, if it's large, small. So it's going to make that movement. Just kind of think of it like that. I think that might help.
That's right. It's like, I mean, I don't know how many people used to do this when they were little, but I used to have the little flip books, and you would do the drawing of the stick man, flip it over, next page his arm moves. The next one you draw him again and he's, his leg moves and the arm moves. That's essentially what it is. And then when you flip through it, it creates that animation. So it's little bits of changes, and it could be anything. It could be rotation. It could be the pulsing like I showed. Could be changing the color. Anything that's subtle and not too much. Like you don't really want to go from an image of one person to another one because that's just too distracting.
Right.
You're wanting to create some sort of animation of the same thing or building into the one sort of graphic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. And there's so many great questions here. I mean, I'm looking at Rio197, consider me sold. The transparent layer is what I've been looking for on online tools.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Fantastic.
And Albert, what you're asking here with the countdown timer, this is actually not the countdown timer that we normally use like at the beginning of our show. This is a GIF countdown timer that we've preloaded into our logo. We've had a lot of people who have asked about having a on-screen timer. And right now that's a feature that is on the roadmap, but it is not developed at the time. So this is how you create that on-screen timer, is you use a GIF in the place of your logo.
And that, by the way, I think Annette, you could probably answer this. I mean, that's like, if you're going to do something like this, it's super complicated because you've got so many individual frames, right?
Yeah. Look, I mean, you could do a short countdown timer, but if you're talking about 5 minutes, that's, it's probably too many frames for.
These are ones we went and found on Google.
Yeah. Maybe in the future, but yeah, I think too much for 5 minutes at the moment. But I like that hack. It's a good idea that you can use that little bug area for so many different things.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else you want to share with our viewers? I know we talked about the overlay set. We talked about the animated GIF here for the logo area.
I think that's about it. Like, for beginners, I think keeping in mind that taking the time, maybe putting aside 1 hour or so to build out that first show set template set is the most important thing to do. Work out exactly where you're promoting, write that down, grab your show notes for whatever's coming up and going in and pre-planning that. Even if you're doing one full set and then coming in the week after for your next show and doing it again, but having everything rather than coming in and out and saying, oh, now I need an Instagram graphic, or now I need this, or now I need that. Work out exactly what you need for your pre-promotion, during your show, and your post-promotion, and then doing all of those resizes and having it as one set and cutting down the time that you need to do all of that so you can focus more on the actual show and your business.
I love that. So should we talk about the giveaway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell everybody to enter today's giveaway. I'm swapping it up on you. For those of you who have already been putting in hashtag love StreamYard, I am glad that you love StreamYard, but I got to keep you on your toes. Today is Love Easil. And while I pull in the tool, while everybody is putting that in the chat, why don't you talk about what they're going to get?
Yeah, so you will work with one of our design teams, so our senior graphic designers, to work with you with your existing brand to create that whole set of live overlays. So everything from your promotion graphics to every one of your overlays that you need, depending on your cameras, we'll create that whole set of graphics for you so that you can pop into Easil and use that without having to touch anything or worry about it. Not that it's hard, but if you don't have time or you really want something different, then we can create that custom look for you. So we'll work with you one-on-one to make that happen.
I love that. And while we're letting everybody still put that in, we'll give them another minute. There's always the delay. We will remind you that if you don't win that, or if you are just wanting to get in there and get busy on this yourself, you're going to go to easil.com to sign up. And to get one of the premium plans, you do SY30 off of any subscription.
That's right. And that is valid until the 14th of June. So you've got a while to have a play with that. There's the 30-day trial, and then you've got a couple of weeks, or let's say another week after that, to go in and use that 30% off on any plan.
Perfect. All right. Let's see where we are at. I know we've got lots of them coming in. I think we should bring it up. So we're going to get your last minute entries in while I bring this up on screen. We'll bring this up. And we're going to go draw. I've got to get some drum roll music. And let's see.
And by the way, this is using the new giveaway tool available in your StreamYard dashboard. So if you go to StreamYard.com/giveaway, you can also use this tool.
Yes. All right. So Chip Getler, you are our winner. Congratulations. I am super excited for you. Why don't you email us at marketing@streamyard.com, and we will get you in touch with Annette and send your information off that way. And that way you guys can coordinate that from there.
That sounds fantastic. Congratulations, Chip.
By the way, Julie, are there any other questions? Do you see any other questions here that we can bring up? Let me see.
I do not right now. Oh, yep. No. Does the promo, here it is. Let's see. Does the promo code work for the annual plan as well?
It does. It does. So month by month or annual.
So go jump on the annual, guys, because that's your steal right there.
Mm-hmm. Michael, by the way, is asking, is there a way for them to contact you for consulting? This is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely get in touch. So my email address is Annette, ANNETTE at Easil.com. If you've got any questions, or if you're actually in Easil, where I showed you before with the question mark, you can click in there and chat to support. And I see all of those questions as well. So if you just mention you want to chat to me, I can go in there, and I'd prefer chat any day over email. So definitely if you're in there, it's a lot easier and quicker, and I can also see anything that you're working on. But we do have a full design team. I'm a graphic designer as well. And yeah, we're more than happy to build out brands or help advise on any of this sort of graphic stuff.
Awesome. And you guys do brilliant work. I love everything that you've always put out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, with that, our next show is May 21st. We will be back earlier in the day. It will be 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we are going to have Jeff C. on. And I'm really excited for that one because he's one of my favorite people, and he's just a wealth of amazing knowledge.
So with that, I want to thank Annette for joining us for this episode of Learn with StreamYard. You know, if you have any other questions, by the way, if you put them in the comments, we'll do our best to go back and answer them. I see a few extra ones popping in, but we want to hear from you as well, by the way. So if you really like this, give us a thumbs up on the video. That'll let us know, you know, that we did a good job here. So, and we want to keep bringing on awesome guests. So be sure you go and check out Easil, EASIL.com. Anything else you want to add, Julie?
That is it. You guys have a wonderful Friday. Annette, have a wonderful Saturday, since you are like time traveling. I love that.
I'm in the future.
I know. It is.
Thank you,
I'm
guys.
ready for Saturday this weekend. I'm just ready for a nice, relaxed weekend. I hope everybody has a wonderful time. Christian, are you on tomorrow, or what's
I'm actually off tomorrow. If you have a YouTube channel and you want to get your YouTube channel reviewed, we do have a show that happens just once a month. That happens to be tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be Daniel Batal and Dee Nemen. So basically you can join them. They'll take a look at your YouTube channel, give you their first impressions, things like that to help you with your YouTube channel. So be sure to go and join that, youtube.com/StreamYard actually. So make sure you go and check that out. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Julie.
Awesome. And after that, we've got Town Hall on Sunday, and I will be back with Livestream Impact on Monday. So we've got a full lineup for the next 3 days for you guys. Make sure you are tuning in. We will see you next time.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.